Hey, what's up, mortals? It's Hallie here with a new video for you. Welcome to Part 3, Season 1 of What If Deku Had Nanomachines. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying, sit back and relax. You're in for a treat, so we begin. UA High School was prestigious for its hands-on teaching on how to be a hero, with that prestige only rising with the arrival of the #1 hero All Might as a teacher for the next generation. This hands-on teaching had a strong focus on how well the students are able to subdue villains. And what better way to gauge this ability but by having them battle? The battle trial was the result of this. Class 1A was gathered outside of one of the buildings in a battle center, wearing their hero costumes. Well, all save for Izuku. He didn't see the need in a costume, and was wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt. All Might was standing before them. Students! For this test, you'll be split into pairs. One group will act as the villains, and will try to I don't think we should do that, sir. Izuku interrupted the #1 hero. Murmurs rose through the assembled students. All Might took a deep breath. He remembered the conversation he and Nezu had. He needed to tread lightly. Why are you saying this? He asked carefully. It isn't unheard of that a large squadron of heroes attempt to defeat a single highly skilled villain, is it? Izuku answered. All Might's heart sank. He suspected that he knew where the Greenette was going with this. Those kinds of raids aren't uncommon, the #1 hero said. Do you intend to replicate that kind of situation? I believe myself capable of, if nothing more, picking apart my classmates with ease, Izuku said, smirking. Bakugo scoffed. I say we teach this cocky bastard a lesson, he spat. Though it did not seem as if many of the class had shared his enthusiasm. Are you sure this is fair? I mean, I know you're strong and all, but... The yellow-haired electric boy Denki Kaminari said nervously. Izuku simply laughed at this. I understand. You require a demonstration. No, I don't think we do, another voice said. The student's eyes shot to where All Might was standing. From behind him, Aizawa walked out. I think it'll be a fair fight, the tired teacher said. Great! So let's get started then, All Might said. Izuku smiled. Thank you very much. Now, I'll go set up inside. You guys can figure your strategy out, not that it'll help. The second he shut the main door behind him, Bakugo removed his left glove and fired an explosion from his palm, getting everyone's attention. Listen! You all are idiots if you think this is gonna be easy, he roared. The class shuffled around nervously. Bakugo sighed in exasperation. All right. Who here is gonna take this seriously? The whole class raised their hands. They were Hero Course students after all, and this was a test. I don't think he'll be able to stop us if we just swarm him. I mean, seriously, we're 18 people, and he's one guy, Kaminari said. The class nodded in agreement. I sure love being surrounded by idiots, Bakugo yelled, sparks flying from his left hand. Stop acting so much better than us, Mina Ashido protested. Yeah, why should we listen to you? Hanta Sero asked indignantly. Whoever said that you could order us around? The gathered students started getting riled up. Bakugo clearly didn't respect them. Ugh! The blonde boy roared in rage. He raised his gloved right hand, and a huge explosion shot out from it, disintegrating the glove completely. Everyone except Yui Kodai stared in shock. Under the glove was a shiny silver mechanical hand. It had a hole on its palm, where he seemed to have launched the explosion from. All of you shut up! He yelled. The class quieted down. The explosive boy took a deep breath. I know his power better than any of you here. If you won't take him seriously, fine, go! Underestimate him! No skin off my back! Bakugo shoved his way out of the circle, and sat on the ground a few meters from it. All Might looked at Aizawa with concern. I trust the principal briefed you on the history between those two? All Might said nervously. He did. However, none of us were aware of the depth of this history, Aizawa responded. Let's hope this class doesn't catch on too quickly. We don't want a common enemy for them. I'll talk with young Bakugo, and try to calm the situation, All Might replied. Good idea. As the teachers discussed, Ochako Uraka and Yui Kodai left the group to go talk with Bakugo. Ochako tried starting a conversation. Hey, so, we heard that, We know what happened, Yui interrupted bluntly. Ochako grinned sheepishly. Yeah, what she said. The angry boy scoffed. And so what? He asked spitefully. Ochako tried replying. It's just, we get... What do you get? Huh? What? Bakugo snapped. We don't get it, Yui replied. Ochako tried to step in again, but the athletic girl put a hand on her shoulder. Please, don't take it out on all of us, Yui then continued. Shut up! Stop trying to tell me what to do and go back with those other clowns! Before Ochako could protest, Yui shook her head, and the two turned back to join the rest of the class. We should head in now, Eijiro Kirishima said. I'll try and figure out where he is with my quirk, Kyoka Jiro said. Her quirk consisted of elongated earlobes with jacks on their ends. She could plug them into surfaces and hear the quietest sounds through them. The girl headed into the building, the rest of the class crowding near the entrance, safe for Bakugo. He was still sitting inside. Soon, Jiro headed back to the door. He's in the third room from the left on the third floor. How do we rush him? You know what? I'll take him down, Kirishima said. Before anyone could stop him, the red-haired boy charged into the room. The other students then crowded into the lobby of the building, while Kirishima headed up the stairs alone. He won't win, the cold, split-haired Shoto Todoroki said. We should formulate an actual strategy while he fights. One of you has common sense. The class turned around and saw Bakugo at the door. I don't plan on losing, but I need you guys to treat him like a real villain, Bakugo said, sparks flying from his hands. The class turned to Todoroki. The boy was the son of the number 2 hero in Japan. The students seemed to trust him. At the very least, more than they trusted the blonde bomb. Midoriya's speed and strength are greater than most of you give him credit for. Much greater. Bakugo is right. We need to take this seriously, the icy boy said. Bakugo flashed him the first smile he'd cracked all week. Meanwhile, Eijiro Kirishima faced down Izuku Midoriya. You're a little too confident, man. I bet I can beat you, Kirishima said, a wide grin on his face. Izuku was standing with his hands in his pockets. The room he had chosen was empty and perfect to fight in. You should probably regroup with the others, the greenette said, hands in his pocket. The other boy simply shook his head. Then, I'll try not to cause any permanent damage, but in a one-on-one with someone like you, I won't make any guarantees, the cocky boy said, smirking. Kirishima frowned. That kind of talk isn't manly. It's just plain arrogant. At that, he charged. The spiky-haired boy's quirk allowed him to harden himself, in a way not unlike Izuku's nanomachines. The nanomechanically enhanced teen was quick to show which hardening ability was more effective, however. Kirishima swung a strong opening hook at Midoriya, his skin gaining edges as it hardened. The fist clanged against Izuku's face, which had hardened as the hit made contact. The greenette didn't budge. Kirishima wasn't done yet, however. The hardened boy let off a barrage of punches, jabs, hooks, uppercuts, anything he could think of. The red-haired boy withdrew. His unmediated barrage of punches took a lot of stamina. He looked up at his opponent. The muscled boy's t-shirt had gotten ripped up, but besides that, he seemed completely unaffected by the attacks. He hadn't even moved an inch. What? All my punches landed! Kirishima thought, incredulous. Although his opponent's unique hardening absorbing the surface-level damage of the attacks was well within Kirishima's expectations, he expected his barrage to have at least pushed him back. You finished? Izuku asked. Kirishima got into a defensive stance as he noticed the black coloring and veins of Izuku's hardening from the holes and rips in his t-shirt. It seemed like his whole upper body, up to his neck, was hardened. The best defense is a good offense, the spiky-haired hero in training thought, and charged back towards Izuku. If he wanted a shot at beating this immovable object, he would need to be an unstoppable force. I'm not finished! He yelled, as he readied another assault, but Izuku was having none of it. Too bad, was the greenette's reply. Kirishima's first jab bounced off Izuku's hardened chest. His second strike, a hook, never landed. Izuku, moving faster than Kirishima could even react, grabbed his arm mid-swing. In a single swift motion, he twisted it, eliciting a cry of pain from Kirishima. As the pain shot through his arm, he felt the pressure from Izuku's grip increase. Another scream left the boy's mouth as he felt his bones snap. I guess the hardening only applies to skin, Izuku said nonchalantly. Kirishima dropped to the ground, clutching his arm in pain. Izuku hadn't just broken his bone. He had broken the boy's hardened skin with nothing but his grip. Until today, Eijiro didn't even know this was possible. You... not... The red-haired teen couldn't formulate a proper sentence through the pain, but his thoughts were loud and clear. You're not a hero! Izuku walked up to the boy and kicked his injured opponent to the ground without a shred of regret or respect on his face. Idiots like you aren't fit to be heroes, he said. Kirishima would have laughed if he could physically bring himself to. How ironic. They were thinking the same thing, except he was on the floor and Izuku was standing over him. Did that make the greenette right? Izuku's foot stomped down on Kirishima, knocking the air out of him and blanking his mind out of pain. His body was sent straight through the floor. The greenette stomp was so powerful that Aijiro's body continued through the second floor entirely, landing on the first, making a crater in the lobby. However, only Ojiro and Toru were still on the first floor. The barely conscious Kirishima noticed this. "Everyone, where?" he said faintly. Before either of his classmates could reply, he passed out. "Looks like Bakugo might have been right," Ojiro mused. "Well, we won't lose," Toru said energetically. "There's no way he'll see them coming." This video is sponsored by Grubhub. With more than 3,000 store locations, Grubhub offers on-demand convenience delivery across the country. You can search for restaurants by cuisine or location, quickly order food from the menu, and track your order from the app. All hassle-free and without any extra charges. Grubhub charges less than other food delivery services, allowing you to get the best value for your money. With Grubhub Plus, you can get free delivery prices for 10 meals every month on orders of $12 or more for only $9.99 a month. That's not all. You can use the code AFF25 to save 25% off your first mobile order of $15 or more. This code is for a limited time, so again, get 25% off your first mobile order of $15 or more now if you use the code AFF25. Check the link in the description. Thank you again to Grubhub for sponsoring this video. Back on the third floor, Izuku didn't get a moment to rest. 2 lines of tape shot out from the hole he'd made in the floor, wrapping him up. Hantasero's quirk allowed him to shoot tape from his elbows. Midoriya shrugged the tape off with no difficulty, but it was only a distraction. A dark shadow tried to pounce on Izuku from behind, but it wouldn't be this easy to do in the boy and his nanomachines. He used the great control he had over his strength to launch himself backwards, slamming into Tokoyami before his quirk, the controllable shadow beast currently trying to pounce on the greenette, could reach him. The force of the slam sent the bird-headed boy flying. As Tokoyami was taken out, Mina Ashido entered the scene, sliding rapidly on the acid she could secrete. The pink-skinned and tinted girl threw a few minuscule pebbles at Izuku. Just as they reached him, the pebbles expanded into massive pieces of debris. Midoriya smirked. "Yui's quirk, huh?" he thought. The confident teen dashed into the wave of incoming rock and steel. He smashed through the projectiles like they were nothing more than foam. Izuku didn't slow down as he approached Mina, slamming into her with his shoulder. The girl was knocked through the wall from the force of the tackle. "Sorry about that," Izuku called over. "They really are weak," he said to himself. Then, without even moving his head, he raised his hand and grabbed the multi-armed Mezu Shoji, who was dropping down to capture him from above. Izuku slammed him into the ground. "This kind of thing, it's insulting, you know? Did you really think I didn't see you floating up through the hole?" the greenette asked. Shoji didn't get the chance to answer. A massive wave of ice hit Izuku, encasing him completely. Shoji saw Todoroki, floating with help from Uraraka's quirk, hand extended and frosty. "Did we get him?" the duplicate-armed student asked. As an answer, the ice encasing Midoriya was blasted away. "Do you really think all I do is hit hard?" he asked. Shoji didn't have time to reposition himself before he was thrown into Todoroki. "What on earth is your quirk?" the split-haired boy asked, jumping up from under the now unconscious Shoji. "Quirk? Whoever said I had one?" Izuku thought, annoyed. "One that's stronger than yours," the greenette said instead. The 2 teens then dashed towards each other, but before they could reach one another, a wave of lightning shot out from a hole in the ceiling directly above Midoriya. But the nanomachines in the boy's body absorbed the electricity with ease. "That barely even tickles," Izuku remarked, unamused. In a single swift uppercut, he punched through the ice wave Todoroki was riding, hitting the boy and sending him through the ceiling into his electric classmate, Kaminari. "There's still someone missing," Midoriya muttered. Before the word missing left his mouth, an explosion hit him from behind. "Looking for me, Deku?" Bakugo yelled. Midoriya chuckled. "I don't think that nickname really fits anymore. After all, I'm not useless now," he said, his voice rising into an almost hysterical pitch. Bakugo tried to charge, but Izuku met him in stride and slammed him into the ground. He leaned in towards the blonde. "Who's Deku now, huh?" the greenette asked, like he'd been wanting to get it off his chest for years. Bakugo fired off explosion after explosion, gripping Deku's arms and kicking him. But when the teen channeled another blast of energy through his nanomachines, Katsuki couldn't even resist, and was sent rocketing down through the floor. "That's the power of my nanomachines, son!" Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to say if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has you covered. Our We the Celestials My Hero Academia and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members from 16 years old to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interest by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for new members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching and have a great day.